I'm Gail Bean. I'm the president this year for Smith County Master Gardeners, and this is our library lecture series. This is the third month out of 5, and this month we are pleased to offer you some education on our Texas Superstars program. Lynette Sewell is going to be presenting to us, and she is an advanced trained specialist in Superstars. So we hope that you enjoy and learn. On your chair you'll find an evaluation form, and we ask that you please fill that out. It helps us to plan our programs and to learn the types of things that you want to know more about. So we will take those up at the end, and then we'll have door prizes also at the end from the tickets that you have. So without further ado, please welcome Lynette Sewell.
Hello. Well, I hope that you're going to enjoy this because I love Texas Superstars.
Get on the mic.
Oh. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. I can't see my screen. Okay. Here, can you lift this one? I need it out there. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I think our screen welcomes you, and I welcome you personally, and I hope that you're going to enjoy this as much as I've enjoyed putting it together. Okay, as Gail said, I'm Lynette Sewell. I am a Smith County Master Gardener volunteer. We are all volunteers, and what we do is out of love. Okay, and how did I get here? All right, in June. In June of 2021, I entered the Smith County Master Gardener program. And those of you who are Master Gardeners are going to say, how'd you do this in June? Because our programs start in January, but this was during COVID. And so they could not get it started in January of 21, and so they offered it in June, which was perfect. I felt like God was speaking to me because this is something I'd always wanted to do. And during my internship, one of the things that we have to do is work in the gardens, and I was in the idea garden, and I became intrigued by the Texas Superstar plants. I mean, they were plants that I had never really seen before. So in April of 22, I became certified as a Smith County Master Gardener volunteer. And then in November of 22, I was blessed with the fact that it fell in my lap again that they were giving the Texas Superstar Advanced Training. So I did that, and in January of this year, I became certified as a Texas Superstar Advanced Training certified. That was a mouthful, and that's a kind of a little capsule of my resume here. So what we're going to talk about, what is a superstar. And I know some of you are Master Gardeners, and you've already heard part of this program, and you've heard a lot in your training about what a superstar is. So some of it may be just a refresher course for you. We're going to talk about how the plants are tested and selected, how you can support the program, the categories, and then there were 3 plants or 3 items that were graduated into the program in 2023, and we're going to show those. And some recommendations, and then I'm going to go over the website to where you can find the information. If you have a question, that's where you'll find your information. And at the end, we will open it up for questions. Okay, a Texas Superstar plant is a plant that's tested and selected for the superstar performance in the Texas earth kind landscape. They're plants that can thrive in the wide variety of Texas growing conditions and environments, and they have certainly been tested the last few years. The candidates undergo several years of extensive field trials, and that's by the Texas A&M AgriLife Research and the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, and both of those are a part of the Texas A&M system. There's not much soil preparation, no fertilizer, no pesticides, and just reasonable watering. And a plant must perform well for both consumers and commercial growers in Texas. They must be easy to propagate, which ensures that the plants are not only widely available through Texas, but also reasonably priced, because these are not plants that you can order from a catalog or something like that. These are plants that are just specific for our growing season, and I'm talking about ours. I'm not talking about Smith County. I'm talking about the state of Texas. And only the toughest and most reliable and the best looking make the cut. They must be attractive for the gardening public, and they must be unique and desirable and with ornamental characteristics, and one of those is the heat of Texas. And a lot of those plants that you see in nurseries are not available with these attributes. So that's something you need to think about when you're planting your garden. And they must perform well for most Texas consumers, regardless of their gardening expertise and growing location. I do not have a green thumb. I did not inherit my grandmother's green thumb. So I need all the help I can get. They also must be pest resistant as possible and deer proven. Yeah, I don't have the deer proof problem where I live, but I know a lot of people live out of the city, and they're needing plants that the deers don't come in and eat. And they must be able to be propagated. And I know Martha has given a program before on the propagation of plants, and if you ever get a chance, if it's repeated, you need to really look at that, because that is how, by passing along these plants, they get in the gardens. And they also must be attractive in the containers and in the nurseries. I mean, when we walk into nurseries, when we see a plant, we're hoping that it's going to look like that in our gardens down the road. So if you're looking for a Texas Superstar plant, then you've got a better chance of seeing it continue. You need to, and how you can support it, the program is utilizing the plants in your garden. When you plan your garden, think about the Texas Superstar plants. And you will be, with your handout at the end of the program, you'll be given a list of all the plants that are on the list as of 2 weeks ago. That changes as plants pass their time period. And there's a website, which you'll be given a handout that has the website on it. And when you go to a nursery, ask them, number one, do you have Texas Superstar plants, or where are they? And I have found, going into some of the nurseries, I know there's one in particular, I asked them and they had one. But we also need to remember, it's not, if you ask for a variety, maybe all of the varieties may not be Superstars, so you need to know what you're looking for. And if you find a nursery that does carry the Superstar plants, then go to it often, because that's the most likely place that you're going to find the plants you want for your garden. There is sometimes a label or a tab in the plants. I've not seen them. I see them in our gardens, the tags that show what the Superstars are. But these tags are costly. They have to be bought through the program at A&M. And a lot of the nurseries just aren't buying them and putting them on the plants. So that's why you need to ask. The categories of plants are annuals, perennials, perennials, woody shrubs, trees, and specialty plants. And we will go over those. Now, as I said, we had 3 winners that made the list in 2023. And the first one is the Mexican white oak. It's also known as the Mexican oak, Monterey oak, the Monterey white oak, or the net leaf white oak. It performs best in full sun and can tolerate a high, dry conditions, hot and dry, windy conditions in Texas. It matures to a height of 35 to 45 feet, but can grow as much as 60 feet. So if you're planning to put one of these in your landscape, keep that in mind because you're going to need to plant it to where it can grow. And it typically spreads to 2/3 of its height. It's deciduous in the cold parts of the state. It is semi-evergreen in the warmer areas. So you need to know your zone and what the plant will do for you in that zone. And the website that I'll show you will tell you all that information. And in 1992, it was finally discovered that it is a native tree species. Now, this is something that we all look for. We want native plants in Texas. We want pretty plants, but we're wanting native plants also. This is the white Mexican white oak. And you can see that it's a full tree. It's a beautiful tree. And it's also a tree that sometimes we'll look at it and we'll say, well, is it a water oak or a pin oak or whatever? So knowing your plant will help you. And this is what the leaf and the acorn looks like. The next one is the ruby crushed tomato. It's a grape tomato type. It likes full sun for best production. It reaches 3 to 4 feet tall and it grows best in a cage. It's scarlet red, an oblong tomato, and it can reach 1.5 inches by 1.25 inches, weighing 1/2 ounce. So you can tell that's a pretty small tomato. And it matures early, often 60 days after you've transplanted it. There you go. Wouldn't that look good on a salad? And the third one is the firecracker plant. And it's best known as the coral fountain, the coral plant, or the red firecracker fern. It's heat tolerant and sun tolerant and also can tolerate partial shade. It matures to 3 feet and often as wide as it is tall. And it's an annual in the northern part of the state, the northern third part of the state, tender perennial in the middle third, and a long-lived evergreen perennial in the southern third. So that's why your zones are so important. This is what the fern looks like, and there are the firecrackers on it. It did live up to its name. A lot of these pictures that I'm showing you right now were last year in our idea gardens. So these are plants that might be coming back, or they might be annuals and they're having to be replanted. So that's why it's important to always visit the gardens because they're going to change. How many of you have not been to the Tyler Botanical Gardens? If you have not, you're in for a treat to go because they are just beautiful. They are, everybody knows where the Tyler Rose Garden is? Okay, that is the city garden. And if you continue up the hill, then you're going to find 4 gardens that are maintained by the Smith County Master Gardeners. And that's the Heritage Garden, which will be the first one if you go up the hill. And then you're going to move down into the Shade Garden. And then you're going to continue on down to the Idea Garden. And then there's the Sunshine Garden, which is a small garden. But all of these are maintained by the Smith County Master Gardeners. Except during weather, there's somebody in the gardens every week. And in the Shade Garden, I think in the good weather, they work twice a week. So it's always changing, and there's just plants blooming. And I don't know what all's coming up right now. We'll hopefully have some questions on that. But if you've not been to the Tyler Botanical Gardens, please go. We talked to our staff that maintain the gardens, and these are what they suggested. As a tree, they suggested the possum haw deciduous holly. And it's like what we would consider ideal for a holly is red berries. And I know the birds love those, and they're pretty, and it's a very hardy tree. The next one is the Belinda's Dream Rose, and that's a woody shrub. And this is a rose that makes me think of my grandmother. And this is in the Heritage Garden, and it's just the Heritage Garden are plants that what you would consider your grandmother's garden. They try to bring in what was that we're not seeing as much, and they're the older plants that we don't want to forget. In the woody shrubs, they also recommended the white angel shrub althea and the blue angel shrub althea, which are the Rose of Sharon. And here's the white, and then there's the blue. And of course, those can grow to be pretty big. In our annuals, they recommended the pentas, this one is the Egyptian starflower. And that is the color in that is just would pop in any garden. And the next one is the vinca, which is a periwinkle. And these are pictures that were taken this last spring and summer. I think they were taken in the summer before we did a program in November. And so this is what the idea garden was looking like then. And there you've got your periwinkles in amongst, because as they grow, they start growing together. And then you've got your blue days is one they recommended, which is just a vibrant purple. Look at where the Egyptian star and the blue days are growing together. And then we have in the perennials the Cape Lumbago. I always have a hard time saying this word, lumbago, which is a sky flower. And it looks like the sky in the colors. We also have in the perennials the Mexican bush sage, which is your salvia. And these were taken in the idea garden last year. And then you've got also in the perennials your new gold lantana. And look at the butterfly. This is a plant that butterflies love. So when you're also planting your garden, think about that. Think about what the butterflies and the bees are going to like. Because we're the ones that are going to have to put plants in our gardens to help them along as they migrate, because as progress continues, there's more and more land that's being plowed up and lots of wildflowers are gone. So we need to help those bees and butterflies along. And then you've got your Texas gold columbine. And to me, this is just a majestic plant. Just so pretty. Then you have your Turk's cap. And all of these would add just color to your gardens, no matter where, as long as you're putting them in the right places where you would be able to enjoy for a long time. And also you have another Turk's cap, but it's a lighter color. Kind of a dark pink. And then the gold star Esperanza. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. And the yellow is just beautiful. Then you have your variegated tapioca. It doesn't have any blooms, but look at the leaf. The foliage is just so pretty. And as pretty as the plants and the flowers are, we need that foliage to make it all come together. And then for a perennial, we have the Pride of Barbados. And if any of you were on the home garden tour last year, we had one of the gardens that had a huge one against her fence. And it was so pretty. So that kind of gives you an idea of the Tyler Botanical Gardens. And I would invite each and every one of you, even if you've been, to go back, because they change so often. And of course, Snowmageddon helped it change. We lost some trees in the shade garden, but I think most of the Japanese maples are doing okay, and things are coming back. So when you get to the when you get to the website, and here's the website to go to, and you will get a handout that has this on it. There are so much information on there, and this is what your screen's going to look like. And this is the home screen. But you're going to be able to go to, here are where you would go for your Superstar plans. And you would go, there's a brochure on there, and I'm going to show you the brochure. And there's the list, which you will get a copy of the list, like I said, that I printed off 2 weeks ago. But as the plants pass, they're added to the list. So this would be something that you might want to check periodically. Then you've got where you can select your Superstars, and this gives you that there are links that once you see something you can click on and it'll go somewhere else for you. And then you've got your press room, and this is where these are the publications of the Superstar plants. You know, when they come about, what they do, how they grow, and so this is something that might interest you. And then you've got your tips, which we'll go over today, and you've got your wholesalers and your retailers, and then it gives you some other information. And then this is from the screen on the website, and it's going to give you, and Belinda's screen pops up a lot, but it's going to give you information on the website and how you can use it. And on the Superstar selection policy, it's going to give you all of that. A lot of it's stuff that you'll read over one time, but then you're going to go to the list and the brochure probably the most. And when you get to the tips, there are a lot of tips on that website. There's this is on home landscaping, and it's got citrus for your backyard, cultivating roses, turf grass, fall gardens, fruits, nuts, and berries. And you've got your home garden planning, your gardening guides, and fruit gardening for the landscape, planting a tree. I don't know how many times we get questions on that. And you've got your urban, the Texas Urban Landscape Guide. You also have the Pest of the Home Garden, and it's going to go into questions and answers for you. You have tips on vegetables. They even get your recipes up there. But it's going to, and one of the things I think is something we don't think about is this poisonous plant information. We need to really take a look at that. And then also vegetable containers, vegetable gardening in containers. I live in a senior living community. I don't have any control over my yard. Really, they maintain it, and I'm thankful for that. But so I do a lot. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to probably do it in a container. Okay, then you've got other things, drip irrigation, fertilizer guide, mulch, organic matter, maintenances, and you've got fighting drought, which we've been through. Not right now, but we've been through it. You've got your energy conservation and your seedling, how to start seedlings, propagation, leaf management, and then water efficiency. And that's something that we all need to think about. And how do you become a Texas Superstar Advanced Trainer? Now, this is something for the ears of all the certified master gardeners. You need to watch out in your county. I tried to find a date for this next one, but it's not being announced yet. We have, last year, with 23, we did, or 22 is when it was in Smith County. It alternates between Smith County and Bexar County, and it's every 2 years. So it's normally in Smith County every 4 years. Or you can go to San Antonio if you want to. It'll be in San Antonio, hopefully this year, but as I said, I didn't see any announcements for it. But what you need to do is, as soon as you find out that there's going to be a class, you need to jump on the gun, get an application, and apply for it if you really want to go, because they start out doing 2 seats for every county. And then once that is full, if there's still some open seats, you might have a county that no one signs up to go, or you might just have one person out of the county. So once they get all of the counties responding, then they'll open it up with extra seats. So if you get your application in, then as soon as something might come available, if you don't get in there in time for the first two for Smith County, then you might still have a possibility of going. But I recommend, if you have any interest in the Texas Superstar plans, that you take the advanced training. So you're not a Texas or you're Smith County Master Gardener, or wherever county, if you live in a different county, you can become a Master Gardener, and it is so rewarding to do this. You need to, if you're not in Smith County, you can contact your AgriLife Extension office in the county where you live. And if you are in Smith County, you just need to call the AgriLife Extension office. And the phone number is 903-590-2980. And that's how you would get on the list. The seats fill up fast. The classes are January through March. And then you start your internship April 1st, and you do that for a year. And in that, you have requirements while you're an intern to work every aspect of what's offered by the program. And that, to me, was the best thing, because then I knew where my passion was and where I wanted to work. So just because you have to, like, I'm not a news article person. I learned that fast with writing 3 articles. But I know that. So my passion is the help desk. I like to work the help desk. And I hope that they open back up the garden guides, because I love that. There are things that you're going to find that you're leading to, and that's why there's so many things that you can do as a Master Gardener. Okay, as I said at the end, when you turn in your survey that was in your seat, you'll be given a handout that will have to list all the plants, and it will have the website for you to go to. All right, now I'm going to leave this right now, and I want to go to the brochure that you're going to see when you go up online.
What I saw was similar.
This is the book. I don't know if you can see it. It's the same as on the screen. They used to print these books, but they became so expensive to print that now they put it online. And it's actually, what's online is more current than what's in my hand, because as they add plants, they change it. So I suggest that what I'm going to show you here is just like this, only it's going to be more updated. So what it does is it's going to explain again what it takes to be a superstar, gives you the content, and gives you the page number. If you're looking for a specific plant, you can go right to it. Goes into annuals, and it's going to have everyone that is now a Texas Superstar plant, and it's alphabetical, so that it's easy to find. They're going to tell you what the zone is for the plant. It's going to tell you what the exposure is, what it can handle, what type it is, planting times, soil types, suggested uses, and then they're going to give you some special notes that might be of interest to you. So as we go on, you're going to see some that we've just talked about, and some that might really spark an interest for you. But I would suggest that you go up and look at it. This right here is the Texas bluebonnet on your right. And the next page is going to show you the Texas maroon bluebonnet. Wonder where that one was developed. Anyway, it's just going to continue on, and then we're going to get to the perennials. And it's going to tell you, about the perennials and what they are. And then again, alphabetical. Here's your lumbago here. Go into the grasses and the ferns. look at this hibiscus, this one on the, I'm pointing on my screen, I'm sorry. But this one on the right is just an unusual color. But here's your gold lantana. And here is your columbine that we talked about. In this one, I am looking for, it's the tangerine beauty crossvine. So if anybody knows where I can find that, let me know. Then you've got, again, more on the, you've got your Turk's cap here that we've already talked about. Then we're going to get into the perennials. And the perennials are tropical perennial, but they're used as annuals in some areas. So that's what the perennial is. It's kind of a combination depending on your zone and where you live within your zone also. Anyway, it just continues to go through there and tell you all about each category. And then you get into your woody shrubs. And a lot of this is your althea and your roses. So many roses. And here is what is this one? I can't read it. I can't even read it on my screen.
Which one?
No, the one on the right.
That's
It doesn't say the salvia. Violet, thank you.
Oh, it's like it.
And here is your crepe myrtle in the trees. Here's your berries there are orange, that's your holly that we talked about. And the maple is just really pretty. That had to be taken in the fall, don't you think? And then you get into your specialty plants. And what your specialty plants are would be fruits, vegetables, herbs, and then a few plants. But here's you've got a lot of peppers in here. There's tomatoes and strawberries and broccoli. This is a rosemary plant. This is called the it's a rosemary, what do they call it? Barbecue skewers is what it's called.
Yeah, it grows upright.
But you've got your berries and your fruits, and look at the orchid in there. That's a specialty plant. And the purple flash ornamental pepper plant. That would be pretty even if you don't want peppers. You've got your grapes and more fruit, and then you get into your hardiness zones. Excuse me, and that's one of the really important things that you should be doing before you plant anything is looking to see what your zone is. And it's going to show you by the counties. And then it's going to give you additional information. And it's just a booklet of things to. And then down at the bottom, it's going to give you question and answers. It'll give you the questions and it'll give you the answers. And at the very end, I'm only going to give you one website right now, and that's to the Superstar plans. But there are other websites that you can go to. And if you're on the web, their web, you can click on that QR code and it'll take you to it. Okay. Oh, and this is what butterfly. This is what I was talking about. This lady over here that's sitting behind Gary, when I was an intern in the idea garden, when they're pulling up things or cutting them off or whatever, they lay everything in the middle of a slab where we were. And there was this canna bulb nobody picked up. It was about this long with the green foliage still on it. And I was still looking at it, and she walks up to me and she says, "You need to take that home." I said, "Well, I live in a senior living community. I don't have any control over my watering or anything like that." She says, "Put it in a pot." So I went home and I put it in a pot, and it bloomed and bloomed and bloomed, and it got to be about 3 feet tall. And unfortunately, that's one of the plants I lost in Snowmageddon. I brought it in, but no matter where I put it, it just wasn't warm enough. But anyway, that is, I told her I love this plant so much I made it my wallpaper on my computer. Okay, let me see if I can get this one back up here. All right. This is, again, my purpose today is to tell you what the Superstar is and where to find the information that you need. And I think we could go ahead here today and we could talk about all this stuff, but if you know where to find it, then you're going to always have that information. So I stress to you, please go up on their website. Whether you ever use the website again or not, go up on the website, take a look at it, see what's available to you. And then when you have questions, this is all on the Texas A&M system. So, and if you have other questions on things, if you're looking up something, and be sure that when you go to a website, it's an educational website. Don't just pick it because it's Jane Doe's website, because Jane Doe may not live in an area that the plant's going to grow for you. So try to pick a website. I think LSU has a good website, but mainly what we're talking about here are the Texas Superstar plants. And I thank you.